Hey everybody, welcome to the Dice Tower Winter Spectacular. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello, folks.
I'm Mike Delisio.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
Now, you may have noticed that we've been doing a top 10 list or two, but here is one of the big ones, our top 10 surprises of 2020. So, spoiler alert, for me, I don't know about the other guys, none of the games on this list are on my top 10 of the year. These are all different than that.
You told us we weren't allowed to have them on both.
Yes.
I tend to forget what I say sometimes.
Did not have any crossovers on my list, no.
That is correct. There is no crossover on my list either.
So I guess if you're trying to find out what the top 10 of the year is, you can cross all these off. But here's the thing. I think
you can also just wait a couple of days to listen to it.
It's actually 24 hours, Z.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
But I still think these are the ones on my list are all really amazing games. I really like these. I'm kind of excited about this because I actually top 10 of the years is we kind of telegraph that sometimes. We talk about these games are amazing, blah blah blah. But surprises are games that maybe we weren't expecting to be as good as they were, what have you.
Yeah.
So welcome to everyone who's watching. I hope you enjoy this. Let's get started.
Okay, it looks like I'm starting off this list of the 10 biggest surprises of 2020. And I'm starting this off with actually a very high-profile game. I'm starting with Marvel United. And the reason why Marvel United was such a huge surprise for me was that while I was hoping to like the game, I think that the actual experience of the game was very different than I expected. This is a game that is super streamlined. It could not be more of a streamlined, stripped down experience, but it really, really gives that great United feel. That I think the name is apt, right? You really feel that sense of cooperation where you're getting your Marvel heroes together and you're going against some type of iconic big bad. This is just the base box. I'm looking forward to all the stuff that we're going to be getting, hopefully, next year. But a really, really solid game in a pretty small and tightly designed package. Marvel United was a game that really, really surprised me with the gameplay.
Nice.
I thought you were going to say you were surprised it showed up at Walmart.
Well, there's that, too. But we're not going to get into that ugly detail, Roy. We'll leave that one alone. But you're very correct there.
Awesome. For my number 10, there is a game that I hadn't played before, but a lot of the other guys had played, and this is Small World of Warcraft. So I actually enjoyed this game more than I thought that I would, and the fact that Small World, I had never actually played the game, so it made this a little bit more interesting. I'd heard a lot of good things about it, but I didn't know how this World of Warcraft theme would fit on top of it, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with how this played, and having played a lot of Hearthstone, I actually enjoyed it more than I even thought I would. So that's why my number 10 is Small World of Warcraft. Definitely interesting way they add all the different World of Warcraft factions into this.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Excuse me. My number 10 goes to Endangered, which is a cooperative game with the saving the animals. Right. That's the idea. It kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was very surprised by it, and I love co-ops anyway. And this one felt a little bit different. The action selection, but you are building the actions as you go from a deck of cards. So you're sort of making more spots available for people to go and place their dice there and take actions. I liked the way that worked, and it also had a really strange end game trigger, or goal, I should say, where you are sort of trying to get votes, and if enough of these laws, if you would, pass, then you win the game. So it's outside the box when it comes to co-op games, and I like that about it very much. Endangered is my number 10.
Good call.
I guess you guys like this more than I did. I think it's a cool theme. I just felt it was almost too light. Light's a wrong word because I like light co-ops.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't feel that light to me, I got to say.
Interesting.
I think that grid stuff's a little abstract, but
right.
I figured you'd like that. You like grid stuff, Tom.
Yeah, what do you got against this grid stuff, Tom? Is it tigers? Do you hate tigers, Tom? Is that what this is really about? Let's let that ugly truth out there.
So my number 10 is also endangered. My number 10. Yeah, it's not. I'm back in style now. It's 3 months ago I would be out of style here. Star Wars Unlocked, but Star Wars is back, baby.
Nice.
Unfortunately, this is not called Mandalorian Unlock, which is a very different. But look, I like the Unlock games. If you notice, if you watched our top 10 list yesterday, both my kids put this on their top 10 of the year. And the experience that we had with it, I kind of went into it with a side eye because it's Star Wars themed on top of Unlock. Does that work? Because Unlock, they've done a good job at theming their sets better as each set's gone by, but still, and I really liked it. It's definitely easier than many of the other Unlocks, but I also liked that it was in Star Wars, but you weren't playing Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Rey, or you were just playing minor characters somewhere, but it was in the Star Wars setting. So I just really enjoyed it. Star Wars Unlock.
Nice.
All right, so for my number 9, I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised, but this was an IP-based game off of a small, I believe, app game. And so I didn't have high expectations going into Fallout Shelter, the game, but they were really met and exceeded. I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed this small little twist on a worker placement game. It's basically all card-based. You've got this deck of cards that basically is going to be laid out in a grid, and you're kind of, it abstracts the idea of going up and down into your shelter, but it is really a clever little game. It plays pretty quickly. It's simple to teach, it's simple to learn, but there was a surprising depth of strategy I found in the game. I was really taken by this whole package. And again, I wouldn't say that it's because I had low expectations. I just didn't really have any expectations. And by the end of the game, I remember the 4 of us were playing. We were all kind of looking at each other going, this is really good. And I think we all kind of had that bit of a man, we were hoping it was good, but I don't think any of us expected to give us that experience by the end of the game. And so Fallout Shelter is a really good game. If you get a chance to play it, I highly recommend you check it out. It's not getting any buzz at all, but it's quite good. That's my number 9, Fallout Shelter.
Yep.
You know, Mike, I actually went and downloaded the app because of the board game, and I hated it.
It's not. It's a very.
It's just
like
one of those
clicky
things. I hate these apps that you have to keep letting them. What do you call them? They're the microtransaction, endless app type things.
Right.
And I was disappointed.
The book was better, so. Tom said the book was better.
Yeah.
I'll wait for Eric Summer to read it, then I'll listen to it.
Got it.
Fallout Shelter by Eric Summer.
That's right.
For me, my number 9 is a game that I know Tom and Z had already played before we got to the table, and Mike had backed it, but I didn't have any experience going into this before we got a chance to play it, and it is Tidal Blades. So this is a game that is a worker placement game. We're trying to fulfill these different things, and you're getting dice that you can upgrade. I was pleasantly surprised by like how you can upgrade dice, and you're trying to do all these different things, and a lot of cool, interesting ways to gain points. And the production of the game is just beautiful. Like the art in the game I thought was really great, and just the way the whole thing looks is really awesome. And it surprised me with like how it played and upgrading your different stats in different ways. I just didn't have a lot of like knowledge of what the game would be like going into it, but I was pleasantly surprised by how the game ended up all coming together. So that's Tidal Blades as my number 9.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous game too.
It is.
All right.
It really is.
My number 9 is one that, much like the Fallout Shelter game, I sort of blew away expectations for me. This is a game called Under Falling Skies. It's a solitaire dice placement sort of tower defense kind of game, and its origins is a print and play 9-card game. That's the origins of the game. CG has taken it. They've added a bunch of cities you're defending, a campaign mode, very nice graphics, very nice components, and they've made it into something that is quite replayable, attractive, and thinky. It's a good single player package. It's sort of it's right in my wheelhouse. It fits the kind of single player experience I want to have. Engaging, thinky, not too long, not a lot of setup. So it really works for me. That is Under Falling Skies. My number 9. Big surprise this year for me.
I need to know, Z, do you think I would like it?
I think so.
I think he'd like it. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle
theme is
game.
drawing me in.
It's got a nice balance between strategy and tactics. You have to definitely respond to what's going on, but you also need a long-term plan of like excavating enough to give you access to better action positions. Yeah, I think you'd like it.
I think you'd dig it.
All right, my number 9 is a slight cheat to some degree because we did play this game as a prototype when it was on Kickstarter, but I actually forgot. I don't know what happened because we kept going over it, and Roy was like, "Tom, you've already seen this."
And I was trying to explain to him what it was. It was hilarious.
And that's Moonrakers. But man, there's so much about Moonrakers I like. The aesthetics, the look of the game is so different than other games out there. It's just this very clean, nice look to it. I like the deck building. And, when we were talking yesterday about trends of 2020, man, deck building is back in so many different ways. Yeah. It's being used as like a sidebar in games, but Moonrakers, you're building a deck, but you can buy people and upgrades for your ship that give you basic cards to add to your deck, which is it's just an interesting way to do it. And it has negotiation. It's a negotiation deck building game, which I believe is the only one, or at least. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. And I'm counting at my surprises because I forgot when the first time I played it. So I was surprised again. And yeah,
it's on the list twice, is what you're saying. This will show up again.
It wasn't on
you
the
forgot
list.
that he put as his 8. It's going to come in again.
No, I'm saying this is going to be like your number 9 and your number 5 on this list.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you took my joke away. I was going to. My number 8, Moonrakers. Oh, did I already see that? So Moonrakers, my number 9.
All right, so my number 8, sometimes you'll see a game and you'll see just the box cover and you're so taken by the box cover, you go, oh man, I hope this is a good game. My number 8 is Furnace. And the only thing I knew about this game was the box cover. And then we actually got the game. And what was so pleasantly surprising about it was, and I said something similar about Marvel United, was how stripped down and pure of an experience it was. It had 2 things that I really like in a game, and it did it so well. It's really a pure engine builder. You are literally just building cards in front of you to trigger actions, to gain resources, to trigger other actions. So it gives you that constant dopamine rush of, I do this to do this, to do this, to do this. But to get the cards, you are doing an auction. And it has that this game has a really nice balance of very interactive when you're trying to pick which cards you're getting and you're vying for other people and sometimes bluffing on, oh, I really want this card, but you really don't want the card. You want the resources it'll give you. And so you're trying to get people to put something more powerful there. So it's got that great level of interaction. But then when you're done with that and you've got your cards, it's this almost solitaire puzzle of all of these cards in front of you and everyone's head down and doing things and triggering stuff to get all of these great abilities and points, and it's just a really nice dichotomy of interaction and personal engine building. Small package, super quick playing, very, very fun experience. I was very surprised by Furnace.
Yeah,
nice.
Furnace.
I got to try this one still, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you would like it. See, this seems weird, but in the late 90s, there was a few great Euro games. There was not the wealth of Euro games that are out now, but this feels like one of those. It has the feel of a classic, maybe like when Knizia made a game, one of his few good ones, one of those kind of games. No, I'm not taking that back. Knizia's done about 20 good games. They're great games, and this feels like this is not his design, but it has that feel to it.
Yes.
And I like that.
Well, we don't know. The rest of us weren't alive in the late 90s, so it's all you, Tom. You're the oldest among us, and you.
What? What is going on here?
You're dropping that history knowledge, baby. We don't know. For all we know, you could be making it up. Back in the late 90s, we had flying machines.
Back in the late 90s, I
operate with your feet.
let's move on. Oh wait,
Yeah.
Who is
It's
next?
my turn. Awesome.
Really
So my
do
number
it.
8.
Talk about the late 90s.
In the late 90s, well, it's earlier than late 90s, but there was this game called Tetris. And there's all these polyomino games. My game that's a number 8 is what is it called? The letter L or whatever?
Project L?
Project L. Oh my goodness, I forgot the name.
L, yeah.
But Project L is a game where I saw it and I was just like, oh, it's like the polyomino thing. There's so many polyomino games, but I was actually blown away by the way this game works. It's very like lightweight, but you're collecting all these different polyominoes so that way you can fulfill the different things faster, and you have to like balance whether you want to get the easy ones to fulfill to get more pieces, or whether you want to go for the bigger ones to get more points. And it's just the way it plays and the way you kind of like build up your engine and kind of ramp up with all these different size pieces and shape pieces. It's very entertaining, and I think it's actually very approachable for a lot of different people in different age range and like skill level in gaming. So I think I was just taken away by how well this game plays, because from the looks of it, I thought it was just going to be like any other polyomino, but I was excited about the way it played, so that's why it's my number 8.
I think this has a great shot at making.
Go ahead.
I would say I think this has a great shot of making my top gateway games of all time. It's that strong.
Yeah. Aren't the pieces supposed to be really nice plastic chunky pieces also?
And the cards are all like that you can insert the things into them. It's just amazing.
Layered cards.
Mike's all about it.
Mike DeLeese.
They are. This game. Z, this is a sensual game. Project L is a sensual game.
Okay, my number 8 is from my number 8 is a game called Quetzal, and this is a worker placement game in which you are rolling your meeples in order to select what kind of workers you have that round.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm still not sure I like that mechanism. I'm really not sure. But the game is different. It is surprising, and I like everything going on around that really weird mechanism. All the action selection or the worker placement's really neat in the game. I like the set collection in the game. It's got some nice some spots on the board that you just place your meeple there and it's yours, and some places where you bid and you have to outbid. You select what type of explorer will be chosen to bid if you're the first one there. It's neat, and it's short, and it's got a good it just feels like a nice sort of next step kind of game. You know, if you've played some Lost Cities or something and you've played mass market type games, this is a good one as a next step for that. And I think the rolling of the meeples will get people in the door. You know, it's such a quirky activity, such a weird thing to do. So I liked it. I was surprised by it. Quetzal is my number 8.
This was close for me, Z. I almost put it on the list. Good call.
This was not one I even considered for the list. This mechanism feels like it was made for me. Like, I like the stupidity of rolling the meeples, and yet I found this game to be bland. I didn't feel like there was a lot of good decisions in it.
I felt tense when I played it. I thought people were going to steal my space, and I was like, "Oh man, Mike!"
Very tight,
that sort of thing.
Good.
Well, I guess, but I just didn't find them to be interesting decisions. I don't know. I guess I'm the outlier on this one.
Can we do another Tom is wrong right now? No, I'm just kidding.
Nope.
Correct.
Nope. All right. I'll do a react to it. That's for sure. My number 8 is our first crossover, and that is Marvel United. I'm starting to get fatigued with the Kickstarter flood that comes in. And so when I heard about this, I didn't look at it at all. I said, it's about Marvel. I'm excited. I'll get it and see what happens, you know. But I assumed it wouldn't be that good, or if it would be, it'd be very complicated. And I was surprised at how light it was, how much I enjoyed it. And for the first time in a long time, I'm almost like dying to get my hands on the Kickstarter extra stuff. Normally with a game, I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that Kickstarter stuff later. Here, I'm really excited about the more villains, the more heroes. I mean, I'm really pumped about it. I can play this with my kids, my family, everyone. I'm very excited about this. This, if the extra stuff was out for it now, could have hit my top 10.
At Walmart?
At Walmart. Well, there was that whole thing with the game showing up at Walmart. before the Kickstarter backers got it. But if the Kickstarter extra stuff was out, I could see this being my top 10. This is one I think that will go up in ratings as time goes by. But even for just the base, I don't know, $1.99 game you can get at Walmart or whatever it was, there's a lot of cool stuff there, and I enjoyed a lot. So Marvel United.
Nice.
All right, so my number 7 is a game that I think my surprise came by. I'm sensing a trend, and I don't think I caught this before I started talking about them. But this was a game that is a very distilled experience, where it feels like a big game in a small box in a short period of time, and that is Sovereign Skies. In Sovereign Skies, it's a space-themed game, and there's been quite a few space-themed games that I've liked this year too. That's usually not a huge thing for me. But it is a very, again, distilled experience where it's almost a rondelle type of a game where you are moving your ship either clockwise or counterclockwise around these action spots. And the game is maybe on the long end, an hour long. It's probably closer to 45 minutes. But by the end of that time, you feel like you have played a full game. It's definitely not a filler game, but it's also not something that you feel like, your head's going to explode. It is just this really pleasant experience. Elegant, I would say, very, very simple actions, but just a satisfying game experience in a small box in a short period of time, and it looks nice too. Really nice pieces. That's Sovereign Skies, a game I knew nothing about, and I really enjoyed by the end of it.
Nice. All right, my number 7 is surprising in 2 ways. I really enjoyed the gameplay and some of the story. I haven't dug into this nearly as much as Tom has, but also the production of the game is ridiculous as well, and that is Etherfields. This is a big box game from Awaken Realms that has all sorts of amazing components. I really enjoyed the look of the game, and just some of the pieces were crazy. There's little things that kind of lock away your cards and things like that, different boxes. And I enjoy some of the different gameplay. I don't have nearly as much experience with this, but I would like to dig deeper into it as well. So yeah, my number 7 is Etherfields.
This surprises me that you put this on your list. That's cool. I just didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. Yeah. All right, my number 7 is a small card game from a company whose other games I've not played, though I understand they are fascinating because they're intimidating. And this is Fort, from the same people that do Root.
That's true. I don't think
wasn't
it
sure.
Root, actually.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect of Fort. I understood that it was a smaller game. It was a card game. But I really found it fascinating. It's such an engaging game. It's got such a nice sort of combination between a cute theme, almost a nostalgic theme in some ways, with then lots of player interaction, some fairly thinky, action selection and all this going on.
Yeah.
It's not I wouldn't necessarily call it a light game. It's a medium weight game, I would say.
Yeah.
But man, it's so disarming with its cute theme and kids in a yard playing, and you've got pizza and toys. Those are your resources, pizza and toys. It's sort of ridiculous in that way, but it works, and I've really enjoyed all my plays of it. It's one I keep coming back to, and every time I'm playing it, I find myself smiling just a little bit as I'm playing, and that's there's something to be said for that. Not a lot of games are able to capture that kind of charm, disarming sort of charm. So. Yeah, Fort is my number 7, one I'm very happy to have.
And I'm surprised by this, Tom, because if I remember right, you and I played this, and we were saying, Z's going to play it. I thought Z was going to hate this game. I really did. I thought you would not like this game at all. And so when you told me how much you liked it, I was like, because I like it. I was like, oh, wow, okay. And so I was surprised by how much you liked it as well.
I'm surprised that Mike was surprised and Z surprised.
I'm surprised that you're picking...
still... are surprised.
I'm surprised you're picking Moonrakers for your number 7, Tom.
So
yeah.
Actually, I was surprised that of the 4 of us, I liked this one the least. But
I'm surprised you lost your ability to understand what's good and what's bad.
I took my lumps in that review already, folks. Don't give them to me again. Okay, my number 7.
Send your hate emails to Tom Vassell at. Go ahead.
Okay, so my number 7 is a game that looks like it should be at a museum store, actually. And it is Apollo, a game inspired by the NASA moon missions. It's a long name. It's a cooperative game in which one person is playing mission control and everyone else is playing the astronauts on the different missions. There's 2 missions you can play, and you have to communicate back and forth. One side is rolling dice, and then the mission control can give you a little bit of information. There's like a limited communication that you can do with the other side, and I really like it. It's definitely a very light cooperative game. It's not tremendously difficult, but it has some really cool mechanisms, and it's the kind of game that I wish and hope that gets out there in the wide world, that someone might go and buy, and they're like, here's a board game, Johnny, and Johnny plays it, and it's really good. Mike, I think you played this one with me, right?
Yeah, I played it with you, and yeah, I agree. I think this is a game that I'd love to see in like science museums and children's museums, things like that. It's a really good game.
This is one I really wish I had played. I really enjoy that theme. I think it'd be really cool to have a cooperative game with that on it. So I really need to get around to playing this one.
Yeah, it sounds good, unique and interesting, and I think it works. Now, I think it's probably best with 2 or 3. 3 to me feels like the perfect number because there's 2 astronauts. They can work together, but not step all over each other. I think when you get higher than 2, there's too many astronauts. And if you play with just 2 people, there's only 1 astronaut, and therefore there's like no one to commiserate with on choices you make. But I mean, it still works with 2, but I think 3 is the best. So that's Apollo, a game inspired by the NASA moon missions.
All right, well, we've been having a little bit of fun with this game, but my number 6 surprise of the year is actually Moonrakers. When this game was good? When this was described to me, Tom described, hey, we're going to be playing this game Moonrakers. He said it's a deck building game with negotiation, and I threw up in my once I tamped that down, I actually played the game, and I was like, man, this is a really good game. And I think it's because it is exactly that. There's no other stuff that gets in the way, right? The deck building is very pure. It's very easy to understand. Okay, I'm doing this to boost up my powers. You've got some people that give you some special abilities. That's great. And the negotiation is not this kind of contrived, forced negotiation thing that I don't like. This is one where it's very clear where, okay, look, yeah, we can work together on this, and we can basically use the thing you're trying to gain. So if you're trying to gain a card, it's going to have a number of boons on it. And the things that you're kind of negotiating are what's on that card. So it's like, all right, well, if we can complete this mission together, I'll give you the coins off this card if you let me keep the points. I really like that. It's something where it's very wide out in the open. You don't feel like necessarily you're like getting over on somebody. And that's the part of negotiation that I don't always like. Moonrakers, it's a pretty pure system. We kind of know what we're both going for here. It was really a surprise. I did not expect to like it at all, and I quite enjoyed it. So that's my number 6, Moonrakers.
Nice. My number 6 is a game that is about time travel and kind of like crazy aliens and things like that. It's also cooperative, and that is The Loop. So this is a game that I know Mike had played. He played it solo, and I didn't know how well it would work with other people. I actually really enjoyed the way this works because you have cards in your hand. You have all different sorts of like player characters that have special abilities, but you're basically trying to figure out a way to engineer your cards to be able to play them multiple times and basically loop back through them and be able to trigger those special abilities again and again. You're trying to set up yourself and the other, like your other players that you're working with to kind of be able to do this stuff, all while using this crazy cube tower that's dropping out and putting out all these different things where the evil Dr. Fu is like messing up the time stream. You're trying to jump from place to place. You're trying to put all the Fus back in the right time stream so they disappear. And it's unique and interesting and crazy art. And I was just kind of surprised by the way it worked all together. Just because you see a game with a cube tower thing, and you're like, what in the world is this? But it was a lot of fun. And I know Mike speaks very highly of it as well. So that's my number 6.
Good call.
That thing in the middle reminds me of those things at playgrounds when you were a kid where you threw a basketball in it or a ball and you didn't know what shoot it would come out.
Right.
It's basically
I
exactly
still
how it
like
works.
those.
I don't think I've ever seen that in a playground.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, yeah,
like there's
yeah.
like you throw a ball and it will come out one of these different things and you have to which ones are going to come out.
Right.
That's the
I
whole
also
game.
think I've never seen a playground.
Well,
No, maybe I have. Maybe I have.
Z was born an adult.
Yes.
Correct. I came out like this. This beard, genuine birth beard. Anyway,
Birth beard.
my number 6. When I first heard about this game, I cut off one of my less useful toes because I just was very surprised. I threw up in my mouth as well.
There you go. Come on now. You gotta
My
ramp it
number
up a
6.
little.
No, this one is I played with you guys. I think you were all there, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect when I first saw it on the table. This is Godzilla Tokyo Clash.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what I was quite looking at here. It sort of seemed like a mass market game. It sort of seemed like a minis tossing around game. But it's, again, one of those new breed of games which toes that line. And I find that to be an increasing, a piece of the market. Games that can do both, that can appeal to seasoned gamers, yet live comfortably on the shelf at a Target or a Barnes and Noble, right? This one has that. It's got a theme that it utilizes very well. It's got the big monsters pushing each other and tossing tanks and all this craziness. But then there is some decent hand management in there and some good, sort of strategic manipulation of where you want to be, positional interest, I really like it. I think it's cool, and it's very well themed. The artwork all over the place and everything, the way everything's done looks very nice. Yes, the cardboard quality is mass market-ish, but the game is there, and I really enjoy it. So Godzilla Tokyo Clash.
My number, where are we at? Number 6 is a game that on BGG it says 2019, but it clearly came out in 2020. I actually think this would have been one of the biggest games of the year, but it got hurt by the COVID because at Dice Tower West it was one of the hottest games there, and that is the Isle of Cats. This is a game that the reason I was surprised about it so much was the first 2 games from the designer Frank West, The City of Kings, which I thought was an overwrought, I very much disliked it, and Valdoran Gardens, which Z liked, but I hate it. And Mike liked City of Kings. But
Loved
the
it.
Isle
What's the
of Cats,
independent variable here, Tom?
I'm a hater. But I'm telling you, the Isle of Cats is a polyomino game, but it also uses drafting, which I love. It also is super pretty game. But this one is a very open polyomino game. Just put cats all over your ship. It's the drafting part mixed with that. The drafting is very similar to Bunny Kingdoms. It has that same feel to it. Are you going to draft cards that score you points, or are you going to draft cards that give you better cats to put out? There's just a lot of cool things in this game, and I just think it's fantastic. So the Isle of Cats is
there's a neat economic element to it, too. Yeah, and you like economic games, Tom. There's a little bit of an economic feel there, too.
Yeah.
This is not one I realized from the same people that did City of Kings and Valdoran Gardens. I just had thought of that. I didn't.
Well, it doesn't look like it at all, right? It's a completely different feel.
Right.
Actually, all 3 of his games are very different.
Right. It's true.
So Tom loves cats.
Cool.
Yes, Tom loves cats. Mark it down.
No, I want to be clear. I said the title properly.
All right.
Tom loves cats. All right, top half of the list, gentlemen. Here we go. My number 5 most surprising game of 2020 is a game that surprised me, I think, because of what I'm going to call an unfortunate naming convention, and this is Whistle Mountain. The reason why this surprised me is because when I saw Whistle Mountain and heard about it, I assumed that it was a direct sequel, almost thought it could have been a standalone expansion type of a thing for Whistle Stop. It's not. It has absolutely nothing to do with Whistle Stop, and the reason why this is surprising to me is that I found Whistle Stop okay. Kind of bland. if I had to describe it to you right now, I couldn't. It didn't leave any impression. But Whistle Mountain was really good and unique in what's nice is that it takes some common mechanics like worker placement specifically, but it does it in a really unique way, and it involves a lot of different moving parts. I will say that there's a lot going on in this game, but it just gives you such a satisfying experience. And my main surprise was not that it was a good game. It's that I came into it with an expectation that it was going to be something to do with Whistle Stop. And again, if you didn't like Whistle Stop, give this a chance because it's nothing like it at all. You might like it if you liked Whistle Stop, but if you didn't like Whistle Stop, you might like this. If you didn't like it,
thing.
You see what I'm getting at there.
You're confusing everyone.
I'm aware.
It doesn't help that there's an expansion for Whistle Stop Rocky Mountain expansion. That makes things even more confusing.
Oh, wow.
Please. Yeah, no. It's unfortunate. I think they dropped the ball there, but they didn't drop the ball with this game because it is really, really good. Give it a shot. I think it's just starting to be coming out into distribution. I highly recommend it, and I was very surprised by my number 5, Whistle Mountain.
I'm going to hold out for the next game in the line, Mountain Stop.
Yeah.
All right, my number 5 is actually a crossover with Z Garcia, and that is
correct.
That is the Tokyo Clash Godzilla game. Of course, just like Z, the Godzilla IP, I didn't know whether or not this would be a good game overall, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by the way this works. It's interesting that Z said it was sort of like an interesting mixture of mechanics. It is all of that, but it also does feel like a smash-out brawl with all these different monsters. But it gives you interesting decisions of, like, sometimes you'll have cards that can block, and if you're playing with multiple players, you have to choose, like, which attack you're going to block, who's going to be hitting you harder, who has the most points, you probably want to block them so they get less points, that sort of thing. And all the whole time figuring out how to min-max your energy points and your hand size for your cards, try to combo those cards together. There's a lot of interesting things going on in this game, and I was surprised by the way it all came together. So, Tokyo Clash Godzilla.
Actually, people have been waiting for a good Godzilla game, and I think we have one now.
Roy, didn't you play this with me first 2-player?
Yeah, we played it together 2-player first, and then we played the 4-player.
And I almost wrote the game off. After the 2-player game. I'm glad we played it with 4 because it was a very different experience.
Z?
It's you, Z.
Okay, great, cool, yeah. I was just daydreaming about Godzilla.
Yeah.
What a beast.
Oh, that dreamy beast.
that
dreamy
giant
animal.
cockroach.
He's not a roach. He's
There's
a
a
lizard
roach in that
S.
game, Z.
There's a giant cockroach that he fights against.
There's a
I like
giant
that guy.
cockroach
He's
in
got
that game.
He's got bling on his head. He's got a nice star.
I was a fan of the 3-hit.
All right, my
my
number
guy.
5. My number 5 is Infinity Gauntlet, a love letter game. I like love letter games. I also think they've made too many love letter games, and they are all, for the most part, fairly close to each other. They definitely you don't need to own them all, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But Infinity Gauntlet love letter game, I think, is pretty distinct and gives you a different feel when you're playing it. Yes, absolutely. It's got that same core mechanism of draw one, play one, and all that. But that's almost where the similarities stop. You are playing one versus all, somebody being the bad guy. You are actually scoring something that makes sense, and it's not about, like, deliver 3 love letters to the princess and then you win. This mano-a-mano fight really works out well. There's bluffing. There's some nice deduction in there with trying to run out someone's deck of cards. There's the Infinity Stones themselves and trying to collect those, which is, again, thematic. This is a good way to do a game with 20 some odd cards that feels thematic somehow, I mean, yeah, I'm stretching it a little bit, but it works, and you feel that rising tension. So I really like that. Infinity Gauntlet Love Letter, I think, is great. It's a great little game, and if you've written off Love Letter, or you've got one, you're like, okay, I'm done with the whole thing, you might excuse me, you might want to try this one because it's different, and I like it a lot. So there you go, Infinity Gauntlet, a love letter game. That's my number 5.
All right. My number 5 is a game that the title alone made me laugh. And I couldn't imagine the game was good. And that's Spies and Lies, a Stratego story. And I was like, I didn't realize there was a universe of Stratego to go in. Z played it, said it was okay. And so I was like, all right, yeah, you know what? This looks like it might be a fun one to check out with my kids. I'll give it a whirl. And as soon as I played it, I went to this list here and put it on it because I liked it that much. And this one blew me away. It is simply just an outguess the other person, almost rock, paper, scissors-ish, which is Stratego is. And I think this does a good job of taking Stratego, condensing it down into a card game, but differently than Thunder and Lightning does it, which we often call card Stratego. Man, and it's a short game, really fast.
Thunder and Lightning is not in the official Stratego universe, so that's the difference.
It's not.
There is
it's
that.
In the Hungry Hippos universe, but it's similar,
Yeah.
Mike, you do not help these conversations sometimes. It's in the Greek universe. Anyway, I really like it a lot, though. It's not even in the Greek universe. It's in the Norse universe. Anyway, it's super simple, a fun 2-player back-and-forth game. I also like the name, Spies and Lies. It's fun, and you're just trying to outbluff the other person. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say why it so rang true with me and did not for Z. We talked about it a little bit, but I was just blown away by it.
Yeah. Nice.
Awesome.
All right, so my number 4, the surprise came because this was a game. I like to think that we here at the Dice Tower are somewhat plugged into what's happening in the gaming world. Is that a fair statement, gentlemen?
I'm afraid that you're leading with this question, but yes.
No. Okay. This was a game I had heard zero about, and this is Shaolia Warring States. I knew nothing about this game, and Tom pulled it out, and we played it, and I was like, this is really, really good. And it's also not typically the type of game I like. This is basically a straight-on attack, right? You've got your home base. Your opponents have their home base. It's probably best strictly as a 2-player game. You could play with more. But you're really just building up cards, buying cards from a market, playing them in front of you. And like you have a little grid. You've got kind of a front line and a back line. And you are strictly building up defenses or getting offensive weapons to take out your opponent's fortress. And you could do it with, I think there's a way you can win through culture, or there's a way you can win through military. So basically, you're either trying to build up your own cultural track, or you're trying to knock out the opponent's strength. It sounds very simple because it is. It doesn't do anything you don't expect it to do, but it just does it so well. All the cards felt good. It's like, oh, that sounds fun. I like that ability. I'll take that. Nothing felt overpowered. It was very simple to play over again very quickly. And it just, at the end of it, I was like, man, I really liked that game. And I've played it a number of times since then, and I just liked it. So that is my number 4, a game I knew nothing about, Shaolia Warring States.
Nice.
That's a good choice. I agreed. It surprised me also.
Yeah.
So for my number 4 is actually a game we had just played today. But we've played it back in the past as well, and that is Unicorn Fever. I know there was
it had to be Unicorn Fever. There's no way you put a game that you just played for the first time on a list somehow.
No, Tammany Hall is not on a list. But yes, Unicorn Fever is this auction-like betting game where you're trying to figure out which unicorn is going to win, but you're also like putting spoiler cards and magic cards on all the different unicorns to try to like adjust that a little bit. But one unicorn could still get lucky over the others, even if the odds are against it. And it just makes for this very interesting game of like trying to figure out which unicorn is going to place and which one's going to win and where to bid. But also the more points you have, the more money you have to spend. So you're trying to not get loans, so you don't want to go into debt. So there's all these interesting concepts in Unicorn Fever. And it's just a silly, light, exciting game as you're trying to see these unicorns go across the finish line. So that's why it was surprising to me, because I'd never heard of it. And I didn't have experience with this sort of betting game, and it was really fun.
Yeah, Unicorn Fever is, like you said, it's got a silly theme, but it's kind of a crunchy game, right? I mean, that's the thing about it. Is it betting and like knowing what action to take on all that? There's actually a lot going on. Now, this one, my next one here is a game I don't believe any of you have played yet. and I just played it very recently, and I was very surprised by it. I usually post-apocalyptic games are not that good. Okay, they tend to be overwrought, or they tend to not really be about what they're saying they're about. Last Aurora is the one I'm talking about here. It's my number 4, and it's about you taking your Mad Max sort of big truck, big rig, across the wasteland to try to make it to this ship called Aurora before it departs. You're going to be attacked along the way. You're going to be growing your truck along the way and adding cargo and mounting guns on it and managing resources, hiring more people to come on the truck. And it's very enjoyable. It moves along at a nice clip. It's got a good rhythm to it. You definitely feel that nice progression of, okay, whoa, I'm gonna grab this card now. You know, you're just buying cards from the board. Now I can hold more resources. Oh, now I have a better defense or better weapon or whatever. The race aspect of it feels good, trying to make it over there, you know, before the ship leaves. It's enjoyable. I really liked it. I think this is one that works with this theme. And I'm just really glad to get one that really fits and just sings when it comes to post-apocalyptic stuff. So, Last Aurora, my number 4.
Is it a cooperative game, Z?
It is not. Everybody's out for themselves trying to make it to the ship. Yeah.
I'm very interested in this one. I want to give this one a whirl.
Yeah, me too.
Before I get to my number 4, someone on the list said, are these all positive surprises? And the answer to that is yes. I usually mention that in the beginning. We're trying to make the Winter Spectacular a remembering of the good things of 2020, the good games. Also, I usually call those top 10 disappointments, but I don't normally do those each year because our reviews stand for themselves in that regard. My number 4 is sadly another crossover with Mike DeLisio. Well, that just makes me question my choices. That's all, Mike. And this one I thought I wouldn't like because I don't really care about the Fallout universe. I don't especially want to play a box in a 10 and a game based on an app. It just sounded bad all around. And Fallout Shelter it's just a solid game. And it also uses the transparent cards, which I'm sorry, but if I see that in a game, usually it makes the game usually the game's not good. And the game's using that as a crutch, with the exception of maybe Mystic Veil. But the rest of them, usually it's, oh, look, you can here, it's not a big deal, but just putting the monster on top of the thing and you can see what's behind it, it worked really well. It uses the cute little artwork. It has that dice rolling, so there's a bit of odds. It's really a cool game, and it's the kind of game, again, I'm glad it exists because I think somebody will go out and buy it who doesn't buy many board games, and they'll find it enjoyable and fun. And I'm so glad that stuff like that is around.
I agree, yeah.
So, where am I at? Fallen Shelter is my number 4.
All right, my number 3 is Four Gardens, this delightful, beautiful game that has this large construct of a pagoda in the middle of the table. And where I was surprised was I thought, okay, look, this box is gorgeous, right? You flip it over on the back and you see this huge cardboard pagoda in the middle of the table, and you're like, okay, it's a gimmick game, right? It's a neat gimmick, but it's a gimmick game. And then you sit down and play the game, and you realize that, is it a gimmick? Maybe, but it also works. And it's also a really good game. The pagoda basically acts as a way to gain resources. And it's in multiple parts, and you're twisting the pagoda parts in different ways, and you're gaining resources, I believe, from the bottom to the top. And it's really a very, very tight resource management game where you only have room for a very small number of resources, and all of them are vital, and it's really a contract fulfillment game in a lot of ways. It is just so well done. This game feels like it is tuned to the tightest degree. Like, I just feel like it works so well, where when you feel this great sense of satisfaction when you're able to pull something off and you're able to do something clever to be as efficient as possible. This is something that I like in games is efficiency. This game has a very strong sense of, I really pulled that off well to be able to make that happen on this turn. And I didn't have to waste another turn, and someone wasn't able to snag that card from me because I was able to figure out a way to pull it off on this turn. It's beautiful. It's, again, quick and satisfying, an easy teach, a really, really good game. And obviously, I think Tom thinks it's a good game too, because it's going to be going into the, we can mention that. We have mentioned this, right? Four Gardens.
It's going to Dice Tower Essentials line.
Okay,
yes.
good. I wanted to, that could have been very bad, folks. Yes, it's obviously something Tom likes as well. But that's my number 3, Four Gardens.
That's why it's not on my list, but I think this game is amazing. It's, I also was very surprised by it, and I was going to say something, but Mike spoiled it. But yes, it's going into Dice Tower Essentials, coming out hopefully first quarter of next year. So hang on, and it's going to be essentially the exact same game, and it's a big giant 3D gimmick tower that works.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So hold on. Was this the first time we've said this publicly? Did
I don't
Mike
think
DeLisio
so. I think we've mentioned it.
force your hand?
So. I'm pretty sure we've mentioned it before. I'm pretty sure, Z, but I was like not positive, so I was trying to hedge my bets.
My forgetting is getting really bad at this list. We may have mentioned it at the beginning of this list, actually, for all I know.
Awesome. So my number 3, I really enjoy playing games with my family, and one of the very first games that I ever played when I was like getting into board games was Betrayal at House on the Hill. I know a lot of people think it's crazy and messed up in some places, but for me, the Scooby-Doo Betrayal at Mystery Mansion was a big surprise for me because I wasn't sure how this was going to work. I didn't know if it was just going to be like sort of a re-theme sort of thing, but they actually took Betrayal at House on the Hill and kind of made it work a little bit better for like parents and like kids, because they make it so that you can read the books openly and kind of like work together. And I've actually played this several times with my kids, and it's been very enjoyable to play in the Scooby-Doo universe, but also have that Betrayal at House on the Hill sort of like vibe where you're not sure who's going to be the traitor, or you can play where just the adult's going to be the traitor, and you're trying to work through all these different things. And it's just cool to do that in the Scooby-Doo thing. I didn't really know quite how that was going to work, so it was kind of surprising for me. So I really enjoyed Scooby-Doo Betrayal at Mystery Mansion.
Yeah, I agree with everything Roy said there. Fantastic.
Yes. All right. My next 3, actually, my top 3 surprises of the year are all fairly heavy games. I've said before that I thought this was a good year for heavy games.
We're all surprised.
And
I just want to be clear on this.
I'm just maybe somebody out there is like, oh, this is like light to medium. You're out there. Stop it.
Whatever. Garbage. People need to stop saying
at least,
that.
it's like medium heavy at least. Come on, give me that.
Right.
The third one, so number 3 for me, is a game I played with Tom and maybe Mike as well, I think. Beyond the Sun, from, of all people, Rio Grande Games.
Yeah.
And this is Tech Tree, the sci-fi game. Okay, that's what basically you're doing here. But it is so incredibly engaging. And immediately upon having taken your first 2 turns, you're like, okay, you'll lean forward in your chair and you go, where am I going? What's my next thing? What tech am I following? Ooh, you're going there? Okay, I guess I'll do this other thing over here. And then you blink and 2 hours have gone by. It is very engaging. It is just, it pulls you in. Everything. You can see that everything has been thought about. You can see that the designer has gone through this and polished it to a high degree. And I was very pleasantly surprised by it. I think it's a great game, and I think if you enjoy heavy Euro games, and especially if you're a fan of tech trees in games, you have got to get your hands on Beyond the Sun. Very good stuff. So my number 3.
Debated teaching this to Z. I was like, I don't know. I think Mike will like it. Well, Z's here. Z, do you want to try this? I don't want you to feel left out. And I was surprised that you liked it. And I'm glad, so.
One of these days, Mr. Vassal, I'm going to get tired of being called a dummy.
No. First of all, it's not going to stop.
No, not today. It's
Secondly,
all good. But
no, look, after the past 4 or 5 months, Z, we all now be like, Kalis, Z probably likes it. Lacerda,
right.
he probably likes it. That's where I'm at right now.
Yep.
18XX, I'm giving them all to you.
Next thing he's going to be like, I really enjoy long games. He's trying to break that trend is what it is.
Right?
My
I'm
number 3 is a game that I thought would be way more complicated than it was. The rule book was long. The game looks big and massive, and it's actually, again, this is from a gamer. It's more of a medium weight style game, but I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and that is High Rise. Now, I tend to like games with skyscrapers anyway. That's a fun theme for me. You're building these huge skyscrapers, but this has that mechanism that I love where you're moving around a path on the outside of the board. You can go pretty far, but then you skip stuff. I love that mechanism. It just always works for me. It's how far do you want to jump ahead, but then you miss things. This one is doing it more of short hops. You know, you're going to move, and the better spot is farther back, but then you don't get first choice for the next turn. That sort of thing. And I just found this game to be fun and interesting. It does a lot of cool things. I didn't think I would like the cardboard standee towers, but they work really well. I mean, they even I think they just kickstarted it like an expansion with plastic buildings, which I'm sure will be cool, but I wasn't sitting there thinking it needed them. You know, and it's just one I like from Gil Hova, and this is so different than his other stuff he's done. I like his TV game, and I mean, I thought it was good, the networks, but this I thought was really good, High Rise. So that's my number 3.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, Tom. I remember doing the unboxing for this, and you asked me, how does it look? And I said, well, Tom, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit worried after looking through that rule book, because you're right. It comes across as a much heavier game than it is. And you played it, and you're like, no, Mike, it's really not that heavy. And I played it, and it's like, oh, okay, you're right. I absolutely agree with that. It looks like it's going to be bigger than it is.
I guess they were just trying to be super clear about everything, but it just looks like, oh no, it's not that bad.
You're like, oh man, right.
Cool.
All right, my number 2 is a crossover with Mr. Roy Cannaday, and that is The Loop. This is Roy actually talked mostly about what I liked about this game, but this is another one that you think might be a gimmicky because it has that little cube tower, but it's not. It's really not. I mean, that's just an interesting way of semi-randomly putting out some threat on a board. It really is all about what you're talking about, which is synergizing your cards in such a way that you're able to utilize them in the most efficient manner and hopefully re-trigger the abilities of those cards over and over again. They've got a nice system where you can kind of see how likely it is that you're going to be able to re-trigger those cards. It's not 100%, but it gives you enough information that you can do. There's almost a little push your luck element to figuring out, am I going to be able to get these cards out in such a way that I can trigger 2 or 3 of them a couple of times a turn? It does have a familiar feel with many cooperative games where basically you do your turn, then bad things happen, and then you do your turn. Right. And so there's a familiarity to it, but there's some nice little tweaks to it, all wrapped up in this gorgeous package with some very, very quirky art, slightly different player powers, maybe somewhat asymmetrical, although just slightly. A really cool package, and it very much surprised me by how much I enjoyed it. That is The Loop.
I would argue that I think this doesn't count. And I'll tell you why. Because Mike put a big circle around it and was talking about it before it even showed up. So I don't know that there's a big surprise here. I feel like Mike knew he was going to like this one. Roy, you were there. He was like going on and on about this Loop game.
Well, it was a surprise for me because I normally don't trust Mike's opinion. So
there's a difference between hoping you'll like something and knowing you'll like something. I hoped that I would like Furnace based off of the cover. I didn't have any information about The Loop other than really the cover and that it was a co-op game. I didn't know anything about it. I just thought, this looks interesting. But, I mean, it just turned out to be really, really good. Much better even than I had hoped. So that's why it goes on my list, sir. Valid.
I hoped. I hoped Tom would pick on you, but I didn't know Tom would pick on you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
You knew. You knew he did.
My dreams came
And then
true
he spins.
today.
He can spin an energy cube to pick on you again because he recircles back
That's
around.
right. He could just loop that abuse on me over and over again.
Let me redo this.
What I am gathering, Mike, is that
Yeah.
if somebody wants you to like their game, they just need to put a large structure in the center of the table. That's kind of what I'm getting here.
A large structure somewhere, but hopefully in the middle. If you really want to get
in the middle, yeah. So
Yeah.
Mike's new favorite game soon will be Return to Dark Tower.
Exactly.
That's going to be his next.
if you could put a construct in the center of the board and then have recessed player boards, then just
Done.
write in a 10 out of 10 right there. I mean, just save yourself some time.
Nice. My number 2 is actually a crossover with Z. So I've played a ton of Love Letter, and I thought this was going to be a reskin of Love Letter, but Love Letter Infinity Gauntlet takes Love Letter and makes it very different. Everything that Z said before, the fact that it still has a little bit of that feel of Love Letter, where you're trying to draw a card and play a card and try to like guess numbers that people have in their hand, but it also adds like a little bit of like interesting combat to it, and then like trying to collect the Infinity Stones for the Thanos player, and then trying to know what the Thanos player is going to have and when they're going to use it. And also if you're the good guys trying to like set each other up to be able to score a hit, you know, there's all these different interplays that make the game very different. And I was surprised by the way that it played. So it was quite enjoyable. And that is Love Letter Infinity Gauntlet.
Nice. All right, my number 2, I've played a few times, but I just played with you guys not very long ago, and this is Merv.
I still can't believe you like this game.
Yeah,
I can't believe anyone likes this game.
Something Silk Road. I forgot what the whole thing. I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's actually, you know, it's weird because I just reviewed it. I gave it a 7.5, I believe. Mm-hmm. And in the comments, one person in the comments was like, I guess I'll cancel my pre-order. I'm like,
that's true. That happened. Did you see your Eldervale review? You gave it an 8, and people were like, "Oh, I guess it's not that good."
He hated it.
I mean,
shots fired.
It doesn't allow for any shades of gray at all. But anyway, no, I like Merv. I think it's an engaging game. Yes, it's absolutely a Euro game that is very dry. Yes, the actions are sort of compound, and there's a lot of little rules and all of that. But man, it's engaging. I found it really interesting. It's one that keeps me thinking. And the more I play it, the more I kind of want to try different combinations and different ways to get at the same end result, right? The most points. There are multiple paths to victory. All of them seem to be valid. All of them interesting. You can make that big push in game, get ahead of everybody, and then just sit back during final scoring and bite your nails while everybody does that end game scoring, and they creep up on you. Yeah, I like that a lot. It's a beautiful game to boot. So, Merv, my number 2.
I'm still mine. This one blows me away. I mean, I think the game's fine. I don't like it as much as Z, but if I played this and Z wasn't in the room, I would, and Z said, "What do you think?" I'd be like, "Don't touch this. You'll hate it." I seriously would have said that. I would never have guessed.
You should have been stronger to me when we were talking about playing the games and told me that. So.
Oh, we knew you'd hate it, Roy. Don't worry. We just needed a 4th player.
Did that too. When I said, I'm like, you're not gonna like this, Roy, but all right, come on.
He clearly did not.
You're right.
All of our lists 10-1 this year should have just been Z liked this game we didn't think he'd like, because that's been the biggest surprise of the year. It's been Z liking games we just didn't think he'd like.
You've changed, Z Garcia.
Gotcha. I don't even know who you are anymore,
I don't recognize myself anymore.
All right, Tom?
Oh, that's right. My number 1.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, number 2.
You're number 2,
number
Tom.
2. Okay, I have been complaining for a while about roll and write games, and I'm getting a little tired of the massive amounts that are put out there with seemingly little thought thrown into them. And I stand by that statement. However, this one, from a designer who I tend to not love his stuff, even though he's a good friend of mine, and that's Jeff Engelstein. I loved Super Skill Pinball 4K. Now, I'm a huge pinball fan, so that's part of it. But the fact that this roll and write, to me, brought pinball to life. It feels like a pinball game. Now, I know Z does not like it, but I love this one. It is probably my favorite roll and write. Granted, that's still it doesn't put it on high on my of all time list because again, roll and writes to me are just not as fun as normal games. But this one is
normal
really,
games. Wow.
So this is an abnormal game, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but man, I really like it.
I really want to play this. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I need to check this out. I've heard really good things. Ooh, number one, the biggest surprise of the year is a crossover with one Mr. Z Garcia. So,
hold on.
Okay, go ahead. Come on, Z.
Try to guess here. I'm gonna have to say I think it's gonna be Beyond the Sun for you, Mike.
It is Beyond the Sun, Z. So,
wow.
Let me paint a little picture here. I come into the Dice Tower studio one lovely morning, and Tom was beaming with anticipation when I walked in the door. He was like, Mike, check this game out. This looks so good. I'm really excited about this. And it was sitting on the shelf, and I pick it up and I look at it, and it's this Rio Grande game, Beyond the Sun. I thought it looked like hot garbage. And
thanks, Mike.
Tom seemed so excited by it that I didn't have the heart to tell him that, Tom, this looks like trash.
What do you mean you didn't have the heart to tell me? You tell me that all the time.
I might have told
not
you
about games. He's talking about your clothing when he says that, not games.
But anyway, I looked at the back of the box and I thought, really? You can't do better than this in 2020. This is what you're coming with in 2020. I literally had zero interest in playing this game. And then I sat down and I played it with Tom and Z. And what Z said, I can't do better than he said. So I'm just going to echo this, the feeling of you feel like you've almost gone into a time warp. Like you've played for maybe a couple hours. It felt like that. I was invested every moment of that game, every moment of it. And you're also right, Z, that within the first couple of turns, I knew that this was a great game. I was like, this game is so good. You know, sometimes when you'll be playing a game and you're playing it maybe for the first time with a group of people and you're all kind of looking at each other and you're thinking, is this game as good as I think it is? And I kind of feel like we were all doing that. We were all like, this game is really good. Maybe you had played it already, Tom. I think Tom had played it already.
Kenny at work, actually. With Kenny at work, I'll come in and look at Kenny thinking, is Tom really wearing what I'm wearing? And Kenny will look at me like, yeah.
You're hiding.
I think to myself, no way. No, he's outdone himself today. I did not know suspenders came in that color.
My word, shut up and move back to Beyond the Sun.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Beyond the Sun.
Just not only is it number one on my list because I thought it was so good, but the level of surprise that I had between seeing the box components on the back and actually, to be honest with you, even seeing the components on the table to the experience that I had was massive. If the look of this game puts you off, please do yourself a favor and try it. It is so good. That's my number one, Beyond the Sun.
Yeah.
Awesome. My number one is actually a crossover with Mike DeLisio, and that is Shaolia Warring States. So this looks like some sort of like it basically is sort of like an app sort of game, like you would think of an app where you're building up your little silly and then going out and attacking your opponents. That's kind of what it is. But you're trying to build it up, and there's multiple ways to win. You could completely wipe somebody out, or you could build up. I guess it's like your spirit or something like that. If you build it up,
or something,
yeah. If you build it up to enough, then you end up winning the game. We're trying to figure out how to build these buildings and then roll the dice to be able to trigger those buildings in certain ways. And it's very interesting because you can mitigate the dice and you're figuring out which things you want to buy. But it was very surprising to me because, I mean, just like Mike, I'd never heard of this game, never seen it, and it was enjoyable playing the game. And it just from the way it looked and the way it was to like how the game played was very enjoyable. So Shaolia Warring States is my number one surprise for 2020.
Yeah, I knew you liked it. I didn't know you liked it this much. That's very cool.
All right, Z, give us another heavy Euro.
This one's maybe not as heavy as the last two here, and I suspect it hasn't been on anyone's list yet because it will make the top 10 of maybe several of you's lists. This is Dune Imperium, and it is surprising for... Yeah, right. It's surprising for, well, being a licensed IP game based on a movie that's not come out. You know what I mean? From a company that who put this out? I mean,
Direwolf is amazing. Come on.
Direwolf is amazing. Direwolf has not done other IP stuff, I think, right?
They did the Penny Arcade thing.
Yeah, Acquisition
Penny
Incorporated,
Arcade.
yeah.
Clank.
I just wasn't... It came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? That for me, I was like, okay, really? A Dune game? A deck building Dune game? When you hear that, a deck building Dune game, you're like, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad deck building games where they're like, Resident Evil? Don't mind if I do. Throw it in there. Yeah, it's a deck building game. Buy it, you know? But man, this game is fantastic. This is this game works. Thematically, it works. It's got a great amount of tension. There's lots of confrontation, fighting for spots on the board, actual fighting for, with the troops, different factions, and all of that from the novels and the movie. Yeah, the game's not much of a looker. Okay, it's not particularly pretty, but the game play and the way it manages to feel like what it's emulating makes me think of Battlestar Galactica and what that game kind of does, for many people. So Dune Imperium, I think, is an excellent game out of 2020, and that's my biggest surprise for many things, but for the obvious ones too. Dune Imperium.
My number one's not on anyone's list here. I may be the only person here who's played it, but you played it. Oh, that's right, because you can see it.
I played it too.
Like, how would Roy know?
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, no, I tend to think time travel games don't work well. And so this game sidestepped it by not having time travel in it. And that is Back to the Future, Back in Time. Now, I hate to be a little bit negative on a list like this, but I want to be really clear that it's Back to the Future, Back in Time, because 2 Back to the Future games came out this year, and the other one I rank a 6 at best. It was okay. This one, Back in Time, takes the plot of the first movie. You are trying to make Lorraine and George fall in love so that your picture doesn't disappear. So there's no real time traveling. You're trying to get the pieces for your time machine together so you can, get out of Dodge. But it's really well done. It's a strong thematic game. It is a strong looking game. It looks great. It's Prospero Hall, of course. They do a fantastic job. And it's I like cooperative games. This is, to me, the spiritual successor to Horrified. They're the same thing, but Horrified was a great cooperative game to teach people. This is the next one from 2020, Back to the Future, Back in Time. And I just really, really love it. So that's my number one.
Still need to play this, yeah.
All right, folks, those are our top 10 surprises. We have more top 10 lists coming. We got some coming today. Party games, kids games, Ryan and Bethany's top 10 productions. But once we're done with this stream, in about 15 minutes, you're going to jump over and see Z and Amanda go through Wonder Woman, a cooperative game. All the world is waiting for you.
Yeah.
And the power you possess. And then at 3, we'll be back here in the main studio playing a bunch of party-style games. And I plan to win them all. Let's see if that works.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Anyway, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Stay tuned for more stuff from the Winter Spectacular. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. See you soon.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
And I'm Roy Cannaday.
Have fun being surprised.